Steve Blythe for J.Racenstein, and we're talking a little more detail in the inner workings of an H2Pro. The first filter we have is a carbon filter. And what you'll want to think about when you're looking at a system is the size of that filter. Because the size of your filter for both the carbon and the DI will dictate how often you need to change it. Alright, so this filter, for instance, can be changed for most users once a year at the beginning of the season. If you don't change the carbon filter, what happens? You damage the RO. That wouldn't be good because the RO filter is actually the most expensive single component in any system, that RO filter. So this carbon filter has been made to be a professional size to give you a year's worth of use, and it's still simple to change. These locking rings come off. It's just an easy snap, no tool required. The output hose can be removed from the top of the filter. Tilt the filter out. Remove your U-pin. When you're changing filters, I always recommend you do them one at a time so that you can easily know where the hoses go back. You use the U-pin as a lever to pull up the cap. With the filter cap removed and set aside safely, I can now go in and pull out my carbon filter for replacement. Pop your new one in, replace the cap, lining up the grooves with the holes, slide your U-pin in. All done with the carbon filter replacement. Snap her back into your system, reconnect your hose, snap on your clamps. The RO membrane, properly filtered by the carbon filter, will last, we've seen, 7 to 10 years. The RO membrane can be damaged other ways. All right? 3 major ways how RO membranes fail: mechanical, flushing, or your carbon filter hasn't been changed. When you do have to change it, it's very similar to a carbon filter in that you need to remove your hoses from the top. Often that might be at the hose joint rather than the actual connection to the cap. Remove the U-pin, lever up your cap, and inside there you'll have your RO membrane. Slide back in your RO membrane, seat your cap. With a U-pin you have to have your lines lined up. Now we have our hoses in the right place. Always replace one filter at a time. Reconnect. We've gone through our RO. We're coming out with our permeate or cleaner water out of the RO. And we have our diversion valves for choosing whether I want to use RO only or I want to use the DI resin. You're running your DI. You're watching it with your TDS meter, and it rises above 10. Time to change the filter. So, in this case, we have a U-pin housing that's holding the filter in, and relatively simple to change. You would remove your clips, remove the hose, tilt the DI out, pull your U-pin, wedge in your U-pin, and then filter it up. Reach in. Generally speaking, this filter can be pulled out with your finger through the center hole. Take your new filter, slide it in, and often you'll have to want to grease this with a little bit of magic lube to help the seal. Reconnect it in. Take your cap and line up the holes. set your U pin back in, or your champ housing white retaining ring, and reconnect the output water hose. Finally, re-snap on your locking clip. Now we've successfully shown you how to replace the carbon, the RO, and the DI filter.